Can you see the slide movement? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am. We can see.
Okay, fine. So in the last class, we have started with the formatted input-output statement. Okay, as a continuation of that, so I'll take up the formatted output statement, and you already know. So formatted input statement, to go ahead with that, we use printf statement. Print, it's a print function there. Okay, you have literal string or the control string followed by the variable list. Okay, sometimes we may have only the literal string there. So what kind of a literal string we people can have? I already discussed about that in the last class also. Okay, to have a glance of that. If you look at this, okay, this is very important for us because this is where students will make a mistake. Okay, literal string can be only message. You people can type only the message or message with the escape sequences, right? And only the escape sequences you people can have, and only the format specifiers you can have, and mixture of all the stuff. Okay, so you can add up all these things and you can place those things inside the control string there. Okay, but if you are having the format specifier there, so please remember you have to have the variable list. Okay, these variable lists are meant for these format specifiers. So how many format specifiers you are having inside the control string there? So those many variables you need to have in the variable list. If I say there are 4 format specifiers, something like %d, %d, %f, I am using these things inside my control string there. So I have to have those many variable list followed by this. Okay, I'll be writing this as maybe a, b, c, d. Okay, this is must. If there is a mismatch between these two, okay, so sometimes some compiler will throw the error, sometimes compiler won't throw the errors there. Okay, but nothing will be displayed on the screen if there is a mismatch between the number of the format specifier and the number of variables that you are considering there. Okay, so now this is very important for us. So these things, these are the very smallest things that you have. Okay, because whenever you write the format specifiers, okay, so you take care that how many format specifier I'm writing. You just go on counting those things and you just write those many number of variables after the control string or the literal string there. Next, each variable must be separated by comma there. Okay, we are not using any address operand for this. We are not using ampersand for this because I'm not displaying anything. It's a duty of the compiler which is displaying something on the display device. So that's why it already knows the address of the where the data is stored and all those things. So that's why the giving of an address symbol for this is not needed in case of a printed statement or a printf statement. Okay, so now we'll go ahead with some of the the format specifiers. We already know about that. Okay, so whatever format specifiers are valid for the scanf, all the format specifiers are valid for the printf also. Okay, so now I'll not repeat these things because you already know the printf scanf statement only I have mentioned. But you are not supposed to forget these format specifiers. And you have to use the proper format specifiers. Okay, and you have the escape sequences or a backslash sequences. We call these as a constants over here, character constants. People will be using these escape sequences in the control string requirements. So if you go ahead with \n, so it is helping us to leave a line. Okay, so where you are going to place this, depending on that, it is going to display that particular statement there. Okay, so how to use this? And if you use at the beginning of the control string, at the end of the control string, so what it is going to do, we'll be looking into that also. Okay, so I already mentioned we'll concentrate on \n/t and single quote, double quote, question mark at the max, backward slash, and this is maximum time used in case of the strings. Okay, this is something related to the printf statement. So we'll go ahead with the some of the examples. Okay, so now look at the examples that we people can quote here. Okay, so now this is the control string that we people are having over here, right? So I have only the message. Okay, welcome to computer programming. Okay, this is one simple statement that I have written. So what it is going to do, if I use this inside my program, it is going to display this message on the screen. So if I go ahead with this, okay, hello C program, and I'm using the escape sequence over here. Okay, look at this escape sequence. I'm using this at the end. Meaning of this is first it prints the hello C, program. So afterwards it's going to leave a line. Okay, so now if you are printing one more message there after this, so that will be printed on the next line. Okay, because it is telling us to leave a line there. Okay, this is what is the meaning of that. Okay, I hope I'm making it clear. So these things very important for us because otherwise we are unable to see the results properly. Next we have only \n. So \n is helping us to leave a line. Okay, so wherever the cursor is, so it is going to leave that particular line and making the cursor to come on the next line. So let's assume if this is the screen here, cursor is at the moment cursor is here. If this is executing this statement, then the cursor is going to come on the next line because it is going to leave this particular line. Next, you have the format specifiers here. You have the format specifiers here, so followed by the variable list. Okay, so how many format specifiers I'm using here? Those many variables I'm having here. Okay, so for this is the variable, and for this format specifier, this is the variable. Please remember, so whatever data type you have. Hello, anybody is asking anything? Hello? 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 Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if you look at this, so this is one variable, this is another variable. So if you look at this, this is a %d, this is %d. I'll be using these %d because we have declared this as a integer there. So instead of this, if you declare this as a float, then instead of this, I'll be using it as a percentage of here. Okay, so look at the data types of the variables, then try to use the format specifier. Okay, now I said you can mix up the things. So I've mixed up the things here. So I've written some statement here followed by %d here. So this is a format specifier. Then this is a escape sequence. Okay, this is a message. So here for this I'm using this. Okay, for this format specifier I have a variable here, and this is helping me to leave a line there. Next, so if you look at this, okay, again I have typed the message over here. Again I am having something like %d here, %d. So 2 times %d is there. So meaning is that I have to have 2 variables here. So I am using those 2 variables. So again I can use, okay, the \n over here. Okay, so it is left to you people whether to use or no. But for proper output to be visualized on the output, usually we go ahead with the escape sequences. Is that okay, students? Is that okay, students? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll just run these things and I'll show it to you. So you already know, first statement must be #include. Okay, because to execute printf statement, I need to have stdio.h to be included there. All right. Then main, open brace. Okay. Okay, I'll just run this to show you all.
Excuse
So
me, ma'am.
before that, yeah,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yeah,
Ma'am, that
tell me.
main function should carry a data type.
Pardon?
Main function should have a data type.
If I'm
Int
not
main.
using it, int main.
Then, ma'am, the word
Pardon?
main function, it doesn't carry a data type. So we should add it or not.
If you don't have any variable, okay, if you don't have any variable, so then no need of declaration of the variables. I will
Okay.
not be declaring anything because I'm not using in this statement. Do you have any variable there?
No, ma'am.
Welcome to C programming or computer programming. Okay, I don't have any variables. If you are using any variables, so then only you have to intimate that to the compiler. I'm not using anything, that's why I'm not using the declaration section there.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. So now I have compiled it, so it is compiled properly there. Now I'll try to display the same thing now. Okay. So now look at the output. What can you see on the screen now? What is the output that you are seeing on the output screen?
Welcome to computer programming.
Right. So now this is what is the message that is it is displaying there. Now what I'll do? Okay, I'll take up the second thing also. Let's look into this. So again, I'll say the program, I'll compile the program, and now I'll run the program. Now what can you see now? Make it fast. Can you see something on the output? What can you see? So if your response is nil, I'll not execute single program on the, this one, C++, that particular compiler. Because usually in classes, we never execute any program and I'll show it to you people. Because this is online, so I have that flexibility that's why I'm showing you. Okay, so otherwise no need of showing. So you'll just write the things on the board and you'll just wipe it off. Okay, so now if your response is like this, okay, don't expect me to do anything on the, execute and show it to me also. Very poor response. How can you be the part of the computer science? I really don't know. Because you should be always in the system, in front of system. Then only you people can achieve something. It's not as easy as you think. What can you see on the output device?
Welcome to computer
Welcome to C program.
Welcome to computer programming.
Hello, C program.
Correct, no? Right? So everything is coming on the same line. Okay, so now after this it is leaving a line there. So that I am not interested. I wanted to leave the line before, okay, it prints the hello message. So I'll be using this backslash anyway here. So now look at the things, what it is going to do now. Now what it is doing now? Are you able to make out the difference between usage of
It
the
is printed next line.
backslash, yeah? Pardon?
The hello C
Hello?
program is printed to next line.
Correct, no? So it is because of the backslash n. Okay, so it is leaving the line. So before it prints this hello message. Okay, that is what it is doing. Please remember, this is what is happening there. Okay, so this hello message is printed on the next line only because of this backslash n. If I don't use this, okay, so you already know what happens. So everything will be going to be printed on the same line. So welcome to computer programming and hello C program. So both are coming on the same line there. So it purely depends on you people. Okay, so whether to use the escape sequence, whether not to use the escape sequence. So instead of this, let me use \t there. So now it is going to leave the 8 spaces before it prints something on the screen there. Now look at the output. How can you see? What can you see? Oh, too many things are there. So now. \t. Okay. Look at the output. Is there any change in the output? Hello? No. Okay. But if you print the numbers, so definitely you can see the differences. Okay, I'll try to place one more tab over here. \t. Now can you make out the difference? Hello? Can you make out the difference?
Yes, ma'am. There is a
Gap, correct?
gap.
It is because of this T, \t. It's going to leave those many spaces after printing the welcome to C program, computer programming there. Is it okay?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. This is how it is going to change. So you have to be very careful whenever you play with these things. Now I'll use this. So after this, now let's look into this also, what it is going to do. Now can you see the difference? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now look at this. Okay, I have not used any \n here. Still it is coming on the next line. Why it is coming on the next line? Hello, C program is coming on the next line. Why hello C program is coming on the next line?
There is a \n in between these two lines, ma'am.
Right. Okay. Only because of this is coming on the next line. Okay. So now that's why I said you people can use only the message. You people can use the message along with the escape sequence. You people can use only the escape sequence. Okay. You people can go ahead with only these kind of stuffs also. Okay. This is how it is going to differ there. So I hope I'm making it, I made it clear to everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'll print some of the things for you all. Okay, some data I wanted to print. I'll print the same thing now. So now I'm using the variables over here. Okay, so whenever I use the variable, I have to declare this. So if you don't declare, if you simply use those things, the system is not accepting that. So now I have to declare that. And I know the number and sequence number data type. It is %d, So that's why it is an integer there. So I'll write this as number, comma, yes, cube number. Is it okay? So now I'll assign some values so that it can print something on the screen there. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's look into this now. I'll compile this, no error. Now I'm displaying the output. 1 second, I'll just remove the first part of it. Okay, now look at the output, what you're going to get here. Hello, welcome to computer programming. Next line, hello C program. And the next line, it is printing 25 and 10 there. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So it is your duty to take care of all these things. Okay, so whenever any examiner comes and they ask you, I want the output to look like this, then you have to write the program accordingly. Okay, so now I'll take up one more. You have something called as n and fact there, right? So I'll declare those things also. So both are integer again, percentage d there. So n, I'll be taking it as something like maybe 4. What is 4 factorial?
24.
I'll run this. Okay, so compile this, then I'm going to run this. Now look at the things. Now everything is coming on the same line because I have not used any backslash n before this. Correct, no? So if you want it to come on the next line, so again I have to use backslash n there. So I'll use that for you. So I'll rerun that. Now look at this output. First one is welcome to computer programming. Hello C program, 25, 10 there. Then next, the factorial of a given number 4 is 24. Okay, so now look at the things and according to that it is printing there. So this particular D is replaced by this N. This particular D is replaced by fact there. Okay, so this is how you can see the output on the output line. Is this okay? So any queries related to this? Any queries? Hello? Any queries?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll proceed with the next part of the printf statement. Okay. Now can you see the slide movements?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's proceed with the things. So sometimes what happens whenever we are printing, if you look at this printing statement, we are using %d, %f there, right? So sometimes if you print the output there, okay, I'll show that also before I go ahead with this. Okay, so let me take one floating point value, okay, and I'll try to tell you the difference. Okay, so I'll take one floating point value, maybe x is equal to something like maybe 10.5. I'll write. Okay, so I'm interested to print the same thing. I'll print that. Printf values is equal to, simply I've written, okay, so don't worry. So I'll replace this with what we call it as x. I'll try to run this. Now how it is displaying here? Can you see how it is displaying?
The sum equal to 10.5.
5. Only 10.5 it is displaying?
0, 0, 0.
So it is displaying 0, 0 in front of that. So sometimes people will say that no, we don't want those many zeros to be printed on in front of the a decimal point there. We want only 2 points after decimal point, 3 digits after a decimal point, something like that. I wanted to write it towards the right side, towards the left side, something like that. So in that case, it is possible for us to print these numbers properly or what. For that, we have one facility that is available in C language. That's what we are looking into this. Is it okay? Is it okay? So we don't want to display many things, okay? Too many digits after a decimal point. We want only 2 digits after a decimal point. Okay, I wanted to start it from the left side. I wanted to start it from right side. Okay. So that's what we are interested to do. So that's what we are going to do with the help of this particular command. So look at this. So here, if you look at this, what it is going to do. Now look at this. You have the percentage and D here. This is a format specifier. In between, we are going to use -W. Okay, so this is for the integer, this is for the floating point, this is for the character. Okay, for the integer and character it is same, but if you go ahead with the floating point, it is w point p there. What this w talks about? So w talks about, so I've written there, w talks about the field length. So totally how many values you wanted to have, or how many digits you wanted to have in the number there. Okay, whether you want to have 5 digits, 10 digits, 12 digits, so that you have to specify there. So that is W. Okay, so now if you look at P there, so you have something called as P here. So how many digits you want after decimal point? Okay, precision. How many digits you want after a decimal point? Okay, so that you have to mention there. If I write something like 10.2 there, 2 here, okay, so it is going to leave totally 10 spaces there. So among these 10 spaces, so it's going to leave, or it is going to display 2 digits, or it is going to take 2 places for displaying the digits after a decimal point. Is that clear? So how many digits you want after a decimal point? That must be specified with the help of P there. So W means total width. So how many spaces you wanted to leave for the printing the maybe the integer, maybe the floating point value, maybe the character there. Is that okay? Is it okay? Say something. Hello?
Yes, ma'am, it's okay.
Okay. Then you have something called as minus there. Okay. So if you write minus here, it is going to start it from left. If you don't write this minus, then it is right justified. Okay. But at any given instant of a time, if I don't use, I'll be simply using percentage d, means it will always start it from, okay, from the left hand side only. Okay. Because it does not have any restrictions on it. So it is given the rights to print as it is interested in. Okay, but if you write something extra bit to it, then it is going to take care of the left and right justification. How it is going to do? So we'll look into the examples. That time we'll get a confirmation of that. Okay, look at this. I have something like int a is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if I write something like this, so I have these statements. Print percentage DA, okay, it is printing as it is. No issue in that. It is going to print from left hand side of the screen as 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so if it is a screen here, so on this screen it is going to print 1, 2, 3, 4. There is no issue for this. But if you go ahead with this, okay, so it's going to leave 6 spaces. Okay, it is going to create 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it is going to print a value. So how many digits are there in the number?
4.
4. So whether it is having the plus or minus sign there?
No, ma'am.
What it is having, whether it plus or minus sign?
Plus.
Plus.
Plus है.
Plus means?
Right hand side.
Plus means?
Positive.
Plus means left justified or right justified. That's what I said no, in the previous. Here I mentioned if it is minus, it is left justified. Else it is right justified. What it is going to do now? It is plus.
Right justify.
Right.
Right? Is it right?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so then it will start right printing the numbers like something like 1. This is 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it okay? Now it is justified towards the right side. This is what it is. What is the meaning of this? So if you go ahead with the next number there, so again it is leaving 6 spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So how it is going to print? Again it is going to print the value of A as 1, 2, 3, 4, but it is minus. Means 1, 2, 3, 4. It is going to print like this. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now if you go ahead with the next one, Okay, so again it is right justified only. So this is going to print 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, these two spaces. But you are saying that you have written 0 here. So the meaning of this is wherever there is blank spaces, you append that with the zeros. This is what is the meaning of that. 0, 6. Okay, so what about the last one? So how many spaces it has to leave? Or
Three
create?
spaces.
3 spaces. Can you accommodate 1, 2, 3, 4 in 3 spaces?
No, ma'am.
No. What it is going to do in that case, compiler is going to override this. Okay. It will just neglect whatever number you have given. So it is going to print it as 1, 2, 3, 4 itself. Is this okay? It is going to override because the number whatever you have given is more than the number that you have specified there, the number of spaces that you have specified for it. It is overriding. Compiler will do that. You don't do anything.
Ma'am,
Yeah. Yeah.
one is not going outside and 4 is inside.
One is not going outside, man. It is not creating any 3 spaces there because you cannot fit 1, 2, 3, 4 inside 3 spaces. That's why it automatically print 1, 2, 3, 4. So whatever diagram I am drawing, it is not shown on you cannot see these things. You have to visualize that on the output screen. Okay, it is
No,
not
ma'am,
seen
it
like.
is from right side, ma'am. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Pardon?
Means one goes outside.
Where it has to go outside?
It is a
Now I said you
it enters
three.
from.
You look into this. So there are 3 spaces. Okay. You cannot fit 4-digit number into 3 space. That's why it is overriding this. It is not okay taking care of the number of spaces that the programmer has given there. Okay, it just neglects your 3 spaces. What it is going to do? It is going to print how it is going to print for this. How it is printing? It is printing it as 1, 2, 3, 4. In the similar fashion, it is going to print for this also. It is overriding this. I hope I'm making it clear. It is overriding because how many spaces you have specified is not sufficient to print that value. That's why it just neglect whatever you said there. And it is doing according to its requirement. So how percentage D is working now in the similar fashion, this is going to work here. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. These are the outputs that you people can see here. The same thing what I have shown, I've just shown you the output here. So any doubt regarding this? Any doubt regarding this, students?
No, ma'am.
Next to have the percentage F there. So we can use minus W dot P there for the floating point value. You already know about that. Okay, so in this case, we people will be going ahead with minus W point P. Okay, so where W is the total number of the width of the numbers. Okay, so how many spaces you required for to print that particular number there and how many digits you want after a decimal point is given by P there. Right? Minus is again left justified, plus is right justified. And this is the data and this is how you are interested to print that. I'll show only for the first things. Afterwards, I'll just show you the output directly. Here, you don't specify anything. Directly, it is going to print the values there. How it is going to print? It is going to print 1, 2, 3, 4, point 1, 2. How many zeros? 4 zeros in front of this. Is it okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You have already seen. Okay, so there I have taken 10.5 there. okay, as x is equal to, then when I print that print percentage f comma x there, it has printed something like 10.500, 5 zeros in front of this. This was the output, the same kind of output, because I have not done any modification in this. Okay, it's going to print like that only. Next, for the second case, how many spaces it is going to leave or create? How many spaces? 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'll just neglect this. Okay, 7 spaces. So how many digits you want after a decimal point?
2
2
digits.
digits. Correct, no?
Digit.
Whether it is left justified or right justified?
Right, just
Right justified. Okay, so it's going to leave 2 spaces after a decimal point. It is going to display 2 digits. Right, so I have a number like 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So it's going to print 1, 2 here. Then it is going to print a point here. Then it's going to print 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 4, this is 3, this is 2, this is 1. This is how it is going to print that one. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the same thing is true for this also, because I have given only those many spaces. How many spaces are, how many digits are required for these things? So there is no issue. It is going to print like that only. 1, 2, 3, 4 dot 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 spaces. So it is left justified. It is starting with left only. It has printed that number, and I have 2 digits after a decimal point. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Again, I don't have any space that is left out to print the 0 there. Okay, because I have taken only 7 there. Okay, so I have 4, 5, 6, 7 digits in this. So there is no question of printing 0 there. Okay, so how it is printing here, the same thing it is going to print there also. What about 3.2? 3 spaces are required for that.
Overwriting.
Very good. It is going to override. It's not overwriting, override. Right? Okay, so first it is going to suppress whatever you have said, then it is going to take care of its own stuff. How it is going to take care of this in the similar fashion, it is going to print this area. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I have shown many number of this one there. Next one is character. Okay, so character similar to that of percentage D.
From
It is going to
left,
print
ma'am.
Y. It is going to print just Y. Next, 4C. How many
Four,
spaces?
four,
4 spaces. Correct, no?
yes, ma'am.
Then,
Right,
right justified?
yes, ma'am.
Right? Okay, so it's going to print Y here. So minus 4C.
Left, just
Left justified. Clear?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is how it's going to print. So you have to remember that, because maximum times people will say that. So whenever you are displaying, okay, the numbers there, so you want only, some digits to be displayed on the screen. Okay, so we don't want multiple digits to be displayed on the screen. We want only 2 digits after a decimal point, 1 digit after a decimal point, 3 digits after a decimal point. So that time compulsory you have to use those W point P there. Okay, because it's the requirement of the examiner. How examiner asks you, so in that fashion you have to display the results on the screen. Okay, so these are purely meant for the lab purpose. Okay, in the laboratory, they'll ask all these things. Okay, for theoretical purpose, you don't require. So whatever I have said previously, the printf statement, what is the meaning of control statement? Okay, so what printf statement and a scanf statement there. But if you go ahead with this, okay, so now laboratory sessions, so maximum times examiner will ask you to modify the output, display of the output. So that time you should be able to do all these things. Is that clear, student? Is it clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so any doubt regarding this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so I'll just run one or two things and I'll try to show it to you people. All right. So I need multiple printf statements. So I'll use these multiple printf statements for you. So I'll not take too many stuffs. Okay, so it takes something like this. Okay, so I'll take so first one is I'll write percentage %d, comma, what I have to do? I have to write n, right? Next one. Percentage f. So I'll write something like x. It is up to you what you want in front of that. X. So how many are there? 4 are there. So I'll take it as something like 6. I'll write 0 here. For one case, I'll write minus. This is minus. Okay. Okay, I'll just run these things. Okay, now look at the output. Backslash n I haven't used. Okay. Now can you see the output?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now I hope you are able to make the differences. So here 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and here I have not mentioned anything in this case. So directly it is printing how it is interested in. So here I have mentioned you have to create 6 spaces. It has created 6 spaces and I told you to print it from right side. That's why it has started printing from right side. Okay, this is right justified. So it has left 2 spaces on the left hand side. And wherever there is a space, so you told it to dump 0. So it is dumping 0 here. Then again it is minus 60. So it is you are telling it to start writing by printing it from the left side. Is that okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
this is how it works. So this is all about, so what we call it as the printf statement. So any queries related to this? Okay. Okay, so next concept is, so branching. So this is all about the the input output statements. Okay, so you know that how to read the data, how to print the data, right? So you have to be very careful about the syntaxes. Again and again, I am suggesting you people. So maximum times we make a mistake while reading the data and while printing the data, right? So that you have to take care. You have to follow the proper syntaxes to do that. Right, so once we know that, how can we read the data, okay, and how can we print the data, so we'll go ahead with what we call it as a branching. So you already know about this branching statement. These are nothing but the something like the control signals or the control statements that you have studied in the algorithms. Okay, so first one was something like sequence there, and next one was something like what we call it as the branching there. Okay, so now branching means you have to take care of some control statements. What is control statement? Okay, so we are going to write some condition there. Okay, we are going to place some condition there. So depending on this condition, we have two outcomes for this. One is true, another one is false. Okay, so depending on certain condition and the output of that, a result of that particular condition, we have two outcomes. One is true, another one is false. Right? Okay, so now depending on that, we say that either the statements that are written for the true are executed, or the statements that are written for the false are executed. Okay, so this is also supported by your C language. So we are looking into the same thing. I hope I'm making it clear. Okay, so how we people have done in case of the algorithms. So similar to that, in C also, we have all flexibility to skip some of the statement. But which statement we are going to skip, it purely depends on a condition there. Okay, so now in this condition, if this is true, I am going to execute this statement, these are skipped. If this condition is false, then these statements are executed, these are skipped. Right? Okay, so depending on your requirements, okay, so now and whatever condition you are going to place, some of the statements are going to be skipped there. Okay, so again, it purely depends on the problem statement and the solution that you have provided for it. Right? Okay, the same thing I have mentioned over here. So depending on our requirement, the problem statement, looking at the problem statement, we'll try to skip some of the statement. Which statement we are going to skip there, it purely depends on the condition that I am going to place there. Right? Okay, so now depending on that, we have variety of things that we people can have. Okay, so which are the things? First one is the conditional and the unconditional statement, right? Okay, so what is that conditional, unconditional? And please remember, even though I have written it as unconditional here, so we try to avoid this particular unconditional statement here, right? Because C is a structured language. Okay, so always it avoids jumping from anywhere to anywhere or skipping any of the statements which are really required, but you are not interested to execute those stuffs. Right, so that is okay. So now that usually that is not supported by C language. Okay, but still this is provided at the initial stage of the C language there. So still we learn those things, right? Okay, so now I'll just draw something here. So I have something like, if I have a main over here, if I open here, I have first statement, I have second statement, I have third statement, okay, and I have a fourth statement here. So now what I'm going to do? So after executing these two statements, I feel like skipping this particular statement. Okay, I wanted to go ahead with the fourth statement. So that is made possible with the help of this branching. Or if you are executing the first statement, then if you feel like skipping this second statement and you wanted to go ahead with third and the fourth statement, right? So now it is up to you people which particular instructions or particular statement that you are interested to execute there, right? So that's what we call it as branching, skipping of some of the statement depending on your requirements. That usually we take care with the help of what we call it as the conditional statements. Okay, and it is possible through the unconditional statement also, but in unconditional statement we are not saying, or we are unable to tell that why we are skipping those steps. Okay, simply we are skipping. We are not interested. Then if you are not interested to execute those statements, then don't write those statements. Usually the programmer will say that. Okay, that's why. So we say that, okay, don't go ahead with the unconditional branching statement. Whenever you feel you don't want, because if I say conditional statement, I am placing certain condition there. If this is true, then I say this statement is executed and the other statements I am going to skip there. But in unconditional, I cannot say why I am skipping those statements. Simply I say I don't want to execute those statements. Okay, soon after S1 statement, I wanted to skip S2 and S3. I'll directly go ahead with execution of S4 statement. Why only S4? Why not S2, S3? Because I am not feeling like executing that. Okay, I wanted to skip those statements. Okay, this is something like that. So in that case, so don't write. So suggestion will be, don't write these statements. When you are not interested to execute these things, then don't write. Right? Okay, so that's why in C, usually we don't prefer, but when we started with learning the C language, they have given this particular statement. That's why we learn that as a part of the, the branching statement or the C language, we are learning that. But at least we suggest, as a computer science engineer or a software engineers, they suggest don't use any unconditional statement inside your program until it is really required for that, or it is really required for your programming there. Is that clear? Is it clear, student?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you have to be very careful whenever you play with the C language there. Okay. Now, which are the unconditional statement that are branching statement that we are going to learn under C? Okay, we'll look into that and we'll just close the things. Okay, so now look at the things here. Okay. So these are the conditional statement, okay, that usually we study. One is the two-way selection statement. I'm talking about only the conditional statement. Please remember, okay, conditional statements. I'm not dealing with the unconditional statement. Okay, so but I'll be giving you all unconditional statements that are available in C language. But I always suggest students not to use those stuffs, right? And that is not, usually healthy way of writing the program there, right? Okay, so now conditional statement, you have the two-way selection statement, you have multi-way selection statement, you have a ternary statement. Okay, so these are the three types of statements are the conditional statements that are available in what we call it as a branching statement or a conditional control statements there. So we'll go in depth of all these things. We'll take up some examples because in this only we have so many conditional statements that are existing. Okay, in this we have only one, and in this also we have one. So we'll be looking into all these things and we'll take up the examples on these things. But this is very much similar to that we have studied in the algorithm, that is the conditional algorithms. Okay, how we have studied the conditional algorithms. In the similar fashion, we are going to learn these conditional control statements in C language. Okay, if you have not gone through that conditional statement of the algorithm there, please I request you all revisit the those videos and try to grasp what is there in that particular thing and come back to learn this particular subject. Okay, so that is conditional control statements. Is that clear? Is that okay, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now even though there are two things, but please remember we are going to learn only, concentrate only on control statements, right? Yes. Any doubts you people can ask me before I close my session.